Everybody wants a shortcut. Everybody wants the easy way, but there is no easy way. You have to do the hard things. Just hoping that you're going to be a millionaire. You put out and slap up some digital products or an ebook or something and think that it's just going to sell. There's a lot of work behind it. You got to. Welcome to the Online Business Simplified podcast. My name is Mario. I'm your host. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but a lot of people, they fail to put in the work. I got this question from Threads. I hang out on Threads a lot. I just want to create and sell digital projects that'll make me a millionaire. Is it possible? I'm losing hope. First of all, selling digital products is now more easier than it's ever been. The problem is that people are not ready to put in the work, and whatever they see about marketing online and creating digital products, it seems to be easy. So when they get to the actual work, they get discouraged when they figure out, oh, this is going to take me a longer amount of time than I thought, or it's not as easy as it seemed. And everybody wants a shortcut. Everybody wants the easy way, but there is no easy way. You have to do the hard things. So I'm going to give you some tips on how you can't, first of all, you can be a millionaire doing this, but you have to have a system. So I'm going to attempt to give you a system that's going to help you with that. The first thing is to have a system. Now, I have a system that I teach all of the entrepreneurs that go through my programs. And the first thing I teach them are the 3 baby steps of online business. And they are content, audience, monetization. So content, build a content, create content that converts, build an audience, monetize that audience with the things that you know. So the first step in creating that foundation, create content weekly, right? Think about something that you enjoy teaching, something that you could talk about for hours without having to necessarily research. That's where you start, that thing that you're passionate about. Once you find that and applying these 3 baby steps I just said, I would start creating content on that each week. And then each piece of content, right? You can, this is my path to how I would become a millionaire. First of all, let's talk about some numbers, all right? And how you can get to $1 million. You could either sell 100 of a product, which could be a high ticket coaching program at $10,000. You would only need to sell 100 of those to be a millionaire. All right. So when you break it down into these smaller type of goals, then it's easier to reach your milestone. Or you could sell 10,000 $100 products. So if you have let's say you have a course that's $97 or $100, you sell that 10,000 times. That can get you $1 million. You can sell 2,000 of a $500 product. So I have a 3-course bundle that's $497. I would need to sell 2,000 of those to be a millionaire, right? And people don't think about the overhead you have to pay, all the tools that you have to pay, the online course platforms you have to pay for, design tools, all of that stuff. Nobody counts that overhead, but I'm just saying, just gross profit. We're not talking about overhead. You could sell 2,000 of those, and that would bring you $1 million. Or you can sell 200 $5,000 products. I have some $5,000 high ticket offers. I would need to sell that 200 times or to 200 people to be a millionaire. And you would need to do that 200, if you sold 200 and you wanted to make $1 million a year, you need to sell 200 of those per year. So there's a lot of ways you can break down getting to $1 million, but you have to have a system, because hoping that you're going to be a millionaire, you put out and slap up some digital products or an ebook or something and think that it's just going to sell. There's a lot of work behind it. You got to master offers. You got to master marketing. You got to master sales. There's a lot of things that goes into making a digital product business successful. And so I like to use a framework in all of the content that I teach my students to create. It's called the HVC framework, right? Hook, value, call to action. So when you create a piece of content, you should have a hook to get them in the door. Hey, if you're having trouble with this, I'll give you 3 tips to do this in X amount of time without X amount of pain point. That's how you can frame it up. And then at the end of that video, you can say, if you want to learn more, join me on my audience here. But you don't say it like that. You can say, well, I have this free guide. I have this free whatever, this free email course. Give me your email address and join here. And then you have a series of automated emails that takes them down a path. And then you build out a value ladder. Start with a low ticket offer, and you have a mid-tier offer, then you have a high ticket offer. That's how you can build that out, and you make it such that it's automated. But that takes some time to build. You can't build that kind of system and that kind of process overnight. Now, I can help you do it in 30 days, but you can't build that stuff overnight. And so, and just do that over and over. Create the content, make sure that it leads to a digital product. Now, a lot of people also, when you create a digital product, that first one may not hit. It could not be the product. It could be your messaging. It could be your marketing. So I would say stick with the product and then just figure the other parts out and then make that particular product or offer work. Then you can start scaling up on that. Maybe you can start throwing some ads behind it when it starts doing well, and so I talked about a value ladder. Let's talk about that. If I was going to start and I said, take the knowledge you already know and create something about it, I would start with an ebook. To me, it's the easiest thing to create, and you don't have to take a lot of time. It just has to solve one problem. It could be very short, right? You get them on your email address. You give them that for free in exchange for their time, right? And their email address. So they have to say, yes, I want what you're selling, because that's still a sale, even if you didn't make any money. You ask them to do something. The second part of that is you turn that ebook into a course. If the ebook has 3 chapters, well, you make a course with 3 modules. You can charge a little more for that. Maybe the ebook is, I don't know, $7, $17, whatever you want to charge. The next one could be a step up from that, $400 or $300. And then a step up from that would be coaching, right? And so it's just different formats. Same content, different formats. And the high ticket coaching could be, $2,000 and up. You can say, hey, if you want to go deeper on the things you've learned in this course, if the course is 3 modules, then the high ticket coaching is 3 weeks. The first week you teach on that, or it could be 3 months. It's so many different ways that you can set it up. I wrote this book called The Online Blueprint to Building Your Online Empire, and that book is free. I'm going to leave the link down in the description. But if you want to start your business this year and you want to level up, then go down, get that book, dive in, take the actions, and this time in about 6 months or maybe next year, you could have the type of business and the type of life that you want. Now, it's going to be some work involved, but I cannot wait to help you start building yours. But the one thing you have to do is you have to consistently show up and consistently let people know that you exist. Because a lot of people, it's so much noise online, and there's so many people that can do the same exact thing that you're doing. What makes you different, right? The thing that's going to make you different is you showing up more than other people. You not quitting more than other people. You not being afraid to say, hey, I have this solution that can help you. A lot of people are afraid, terribly afraid to start. So once you get over there's so many things that are associated with building an online business, and people just want easy ways out. And unfortunately, they found out the hard way after they wasted a lot of time and learned a lot of things from their failures that, I got to come back and circle back around to the thing I had to do anyway, which was to do the work. So that's my advice to you. Build out a system, do the work. And listen, if you're not 100% satisfied with where you are in your business and you want to start turning your knowledge into a digital asset and build a business that you can possibly become a millionaire. And by the way, the only thing that'll stop you from becoming what you want to become is if you quit. If you keep chipping away at things you don't know, learn the skill, implement the skill, go back out there and test it, make the mistake, go back, learn the skill, adjust, go back out and test it. It's a consistent reiteration process. But if you just want to get to the next step, if you just want to say, you know what, I don't know where to start, let me just take the first step in taking some action. Then there's something I noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs, they make a lot of mistakes when they're starting up. And so I created a masterclass to help you avoid some of those mistakes. And it's called the 5 biggest mistakes that new entrepreneurs make when they're starting their online business. If you're interested in getting to that next step, then I'll leave the link in the description to that masterclass. So those are the tips, those are the tools, and you just do that over and over.